There's nothing more triggering for me than to hear someone say that they hate being in their business or they hate their industry. And so often, as experts, we feel committed and dedicated because we've spent money, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars in learning this really specific skill set, or we feel like we've been in this industry and it's too late to change. But today, I want to talk to you about some signs that it might be time for you to pivot your business and your brand, and some things that you can start doing today to help recreate the career trajectory that you're probably on in the first place. And y'all, it's some small tweaks. This is not overhauling the entire experience. This is literally some small tweaks that you can start doing if you want to take control, take back control of what's going to happen next for you, your business, and your brand. Stay tuned and let's get started. One of the many reasons that I stopped leaning so much into my expertise is because I found that it was really constricting, really limiting. And I don't know if this is you, but if so, like, feel free to leave a comment in the chat. I know what that's like. So many of the women that I partner with today say things like, Sybil, I've just been doing this for too long. I don't know what else to do. And I want to invite you to think a little differently about your perceived challenges, either in your employer as you're trying to escape, and yes, I'm going to use the word escape, or if you're realizing right now that the clients that you are attracting are not your ideal clients. And it has to do with this one thing that I think we forget to do as experts. And there's like this phrase that every time I hear a woman say it, I'm like, but no, really, it's your thing. That's your thing. Go do that thing. You can make money doing anything. Actually, I was recently driving. I was on my way to church. I was trying to think, like, what do I want to talk about today? And I was thinking, so often we're limited to think you can only make money doing certain things. And then I'm sitting at this really busy intersection waiting for the light to turn green. And I look to my left, and on the side of this van says, "We will sharpen your knives." And y'all, when I saw the professional knife sharpening vehicle, like fully wrapped, decked out, I was like, see, you can make money doing anything. So if this is you and you're an expert and you're thinking, Sybil, I just don't think this thing is going to make you money, it's probably the thing that is supposed to be making you money. But getting us back on track, anytime I hear a woman says that she is fatigued in her business, she's starting to burn out, she can't figure out why her business isn't growing, I think it really comes down to this one thing. And that one thing is not maximizing on your expertise, not maximizing it on it in a way that is going to benefit the right people. And so often we think maximizing on our expertise looks like, oh, well, I got this degree or I was doing this thing. And that's not always the case. And I was looking for other words to describe this thing, but really it's about maximizing your mastery. What is this thing that you have mastered that you don't mind teaching, sharing, and giving to the world, of course, to be compensated? And when I thought about all of that and all of the titles that we hold close to our hearts because we think we are our title, we think we are the companies that we used to work for, that's really where the breakdown of communication between how we're serving and what we're called happens. And so I thought about all of the people that I've watched evolve their careers over time, or late stage career development, call it whatever you will. And I thought about, like, how did The Rock become Dwayne, who's all over Hollywood, right? Johnson. I thought about how these singers that are in these, 1990 boy band groups or girl band groups now are off, being public speakers and doing all of these other things. I look at the girl who played Blossom, whose name I cannot remember, who was like a particle physicist or something like that, and started hosting Jeopardy. And it all had to do with the fact that they were maximizing on their mastery. But so often we overlook our mastery is, and this is the phrase that I absolutely detest, and I want for all of us to promise that we are going to sunset this. It's just what I do. Whew, that is the biggest dream killer, business killer, the biggest passion killer. It's just what I do. It's so deadly. And here's why: it undermines all of your natural talents, abilities, and gifts. It undermines everything that you are capable of being, and it trades off everything you wish you could be or everything you think you're supposed to be. It's just what I do minimizes what you're supposed to be amplifying. And there's such a danger in that. And we say it just so sweepingly when someone offers us a compliment and we say, "Oh, that was nothing." Oh, no, it was something. It might be the something you were supposed to be doing. It might be the something you're supposed to be charging for. It might be the something that fills in the gap between where you are and where you want to be. So I want to invite you to really hear yourself the next time you're doing something and it feels like nothing, that it might be your everything. It might be your next thing. It might be the only thing that you are really supposed to be doing. And there are ways to leverage everything you've already done and tie it to that thing you just do to create the path, the financial path, the spiritual led path, the legacy that you know you are called to live. And so I want to jump into three things that you can start doing today, and I might throw in a fourth because I want to be conscious of time. But first, look at testimonials. And I talk a lot about testimonials. Y'all will probably hear me say testimonials ad nauseum on every video, but really look at the testimonials people are giving you. Most of us don't have testimonials. It baffles me when I work with clients and I'm like, "Hey, show me the testimonials." And they're like, "Oh, I forgot to ask." Ladies, we have to ask for testimonials. I'm not saying press the issue, but there are a lot of ways to get testimonials from people. It might be that you got a testimonial by accident while you were recording a session. It might be a testimonial from somebody who gives you a text message. It might be a recommendation. It might be a video, a Google testimony, whatever that is. Ask every single time and get testimonials, and then listen to them, read them back, and see what are people really saying about what it is you're doing. That is the thing you need to start maximizing. Okay, so step one: ask for testimonials if you haven't already asked for them, but more importantly, listen to them, review them, and see, is there an agreement with you? Do you agree with the testimonials people are giving you, or do you wish they were saying something different about you? Because in those testimonials are what you're known for, and you're known for is your personal brand. Okay. Number two, teach something. And people are often fearful. Oh my gosh, I don't want to give away too much for free. Y'all, I call it my I care content. This thing that I'm doing, this YouTube channel, this is my I care content. I care enough about other people that I know if I serve, there's always going to be more information for me to serve with. Every time I teach, I learn something new or I learn something that I'm supposed to share, and then I go share that thing. And a lot of times that I care content doesn't come out in my paid session because it didn't belong there in the first place, dare I say, right? Like sometimes I have these God winks while I'm filming, like actively filming, like right now, I had a God wink and I feel compelled to share it. I don't know if it would otherwise be shared. And so often I look at experts who'll say, "Oh, I don't want to give too much away." I'm like, if you are concerned about giving too much away, then you don't know enough. You just don't know enough, or you're not talking enough about the right things, or you're not talking to the right people. But once you let down all of those barriers, you do know enough. You can never, it's what the Bible says, you can't outgive God. Okay? Like you are a fount that will be replenished every single time you share, every single time you serve, every time you put a post up, you are instantly being replenished. Like I tell people, if I end up giving away 10%, that's still not enough. There's no way for me to give away 90% of what it is I know. People say, "Oh, I give away 90% and then I charge for 10." Y'all, I'm here to tell you, I'm not even close to giving away 1%. of my knowledge. There is so much information in me. There's so much information in you. It is impossible to give away 90%. And I know it's a real cute phrase that a lot of coaches and consultants give. Oh, just give away 90%, y'all. I'm nowhere close to giving 90%. If I happen to gift the world with even 10% of my knowledge, I know it will never be enough because I cannot outgive the source that's given me this information. Okay. So don't let fear stop you from sharing so you can maximize on what it is your expertise is. And the best way to figure out your expertise is to teach someone how to do something. Okay. That is the best way to maximize your expertise. And then the third way to maximize your expertise, and I think I'm gonna stop at 3 because I can feel myself going long. The third thing that you can stop doing to maximize your expertise is stop thinking you have to be a generalist. There are a lot of us that function industry agnostic. So getting really good about the difference between what niching down is and forcing yourself into an industry, that's two different things. I am not saying force yourself into an industry. I'm saying you get to refuse to choose. And if you're going to maximize your expertise, you are going to have to pick a lane to be in. You're going to have to pick a lane that your voice belongs in. Now, there's this one model that I love. It's called PESTLE method. It's the PESTLE method, the PESTLE framework for those of us who refuse to choose. And I'm one of the ones who refuses to choose. Okay. And I'm going to pull it up because I need my notes. I'm still an educator, y'all. But PESTLE, PESTEL, and I'm looking at my second screen because I want to make sure I don't drop a letter or something like that. But first is political. Is your expertise going to be political in nature? Is that the lane you want to swim in? Okay, maybe you want to talk about government and politics and what's going to happen in 2024 elections for the US. Maybe you have a global perspective because this is a big election year around the globe, y'all. The US is not the only major election happening this year. A lot of countries have already started getting in their new officials. And so if that's you, hey, maybe that's where your industry belongs. Okay, so that's what P stands for, policy, okay, political. Next is economical, okay? Do you want to talk about the economy? Is that where your expertise and your voice belongs? Is that where you can start maximizing on your expertise and say, here, this is what I've mastered in this area? Maybe you want to talk about inflation. Y'all, I'm an economics professor, and while I love the economy and learning about economics and teaching economics brings me joy, I would much rather talk about personal branding. But in my personal branding strategy, I talk about the economics of running a business and what it means on a global landscape to build a global brand, all of that sort of thing. So there's information from my economics background that I pull into how I talk about personal branding for women like you. See the crossover there? Maybe you want to talk about the GDP, the exchange rate. Maybe foreign exchange excites you, right? That would be where your expertise belongs, where your mastery can really be highlighted and shine. So that's the P and the E. Next is the S. Maybe you want to talk about things that are social. And there's a lot of cultural nuances happening here. Maybe you want to open up a lifestyle brand, right? This is where we see a lot of our lifestyle brands taking shape. That says, here's this whole person, here's society, here's how we are leaning into things differently. Maybe you want to talk about the educational concerns that happen across the board and ways your expertise can help to alleviate some of the challenges that we are seeing in our public education system. I'm air quoting that because I also love history and I know why our educational system exists. So, right? Maybe T for technical. You want to talk about technology. You want to just narrow in and get really good at talking about Web3 or how your expertise can help the Web3 developer or why AI is going to do these things, but not these things, right? Maybe you lean in to the tech side of the world, and that's where you want to highlight and let your expertise shine. SPESTL L is going to be legal. I've worked with a couple of former attorneys who want to help the common people navigate the legal system a lot better because of their insider experience, or attorneys who now have opened up agencies that specifically do trademark for small businesses or copyright for women-owned businesses, that sort of thing. Okay. Again, see rule number one, you can make money doing anything. You just got to decide which lane you want to swim in. And then E is environmental. Okay. Maybe you're, saying, hey, let's do this climate change um, thing well, or maybe you're anti-climate change, right? I don't want to pick a side here. I know what side I am on. Maybe you're a sustainability person. Maybe your brand screams recycle or upcycling, that sort of thing. If you all have followed me even for a short amount of time, I believe in recycling and upcycling. Like this dress right here is upcycled, and I got it, I don't know, from the Goodwill for like $10. And then I modified it and cut it up and snipped it and made it my size, and then reused the scraps, right? And not reuse, but recycle the scraps, because there's a scrap exchange in my community. And so while my brand is not environmental, one of my brand pillars does talk about sustainability in all aspects of brand building. So PESTEL or PESTLE, depending on which version of the pastel method you're familiar with, pick a lane. This is industry agnostic, but it gets very specific when you say, you know what, I really mastered this thing within one of these lanes. And this is the lane that I am going to drive down. This is the lane that I want to be in. And here's how I can share my expertise. Here's how I can maximize what it is I do well. Here's how I can tell people what I want to be known for. All right. So, like I said, y'all, there's no excuse in this big old 2024 for us to be dissatisfied and unhappy with our job. Are there times where there are things that I don't enjoy doing when it comes to getting ready to come on camera? Sure. But overarchingly, I have joy every single day in what I do. I am passionate and on fire to serve and to talk to you ladies every Tuesday and Thursday. And that is the joy that I pray that you get to experience and have, but it only comes with going deep and really figuring out how you're going to serve, who needs to know you, and why you are the best at what you do. Okay? And that self-reflection moment it can be challenging. And that's why I say, like, look at those testimonials. Phone a friend who's going to be honest with you about how you make them feel after you do those things, and really take that in and feel affirmed that you are on the right path, whatever that looks like for you. Even when you feel like you're on the wrong path, you're on the right path. I was watching a sermon, and my takeaway as I start to wrap up here, my takeaway was when you walk decidedly with God, there will be disruption, but there should never be distractions. Okay. And so often we mistake the two. We think, oh my gosh, this is a distraction. This isn't what God wants me to do. When really God is like, I'm going to disrupt the things so that you can make things all new, so that you can step forward in the newness of who you are supposed to be. And there's nothing more disruptive, y'all, than updating your brand. There's nothing more disruptive than updating your brand after 40. There's nothing more disruptive than updating your brand after corporate. But see, we make all things new. It's okay to start or restart or try again or rebrand or do that thing you are called to do. Give yourself permission to step forward. Give yourself permission to leverage all of your amazing abilities and skills and gifts and talents and share them with the world without fear. And I guarantee you, you will find your place, you will find your mark, you will find your voice, and you will definitely find your brand. Till next time, don't forget to be the one. And I will see you all on the other side. Bye for now.